Hello?
Do you now understand that your actions have consequences?
Wow. An all-expense-paid trip to Turkey?
You earn it, my dear.
I really need to be on this trip alone to clear my head and just come out of the darkness I've been to this past 1 month.
Typically, romantic movies aren't my thing, but we actually got one here that kind of like catches my attention. As always, I'm your host, Patrick, and today we are reviewing A Lot Like Love, a movie that follows the story of a couple who gets one of them kidnapped, and then we see all the thrills and spills, the backstabbing and everything that goes on between the time when one gets kidnapped and when he's recovered. Without further ado, let's check out this movie.
So you're really going to run off and marry someone else after complaining to you how your father makes me feel?
Can you please answer?
What is it?
I think he hit her. She's been locked up in there.
Any husband?
No word from him. He's not picking his calls either.
Well, in this movie, we have cinematography that goes along with the story. They tell us we're looking at rich people. We see that we're looking at rich people. That works perfectly well. I love the northern flair of this story. I'm used to seeing a lot of southern Nigerian stories. I'm seeing, maybe some eastern stories. I've not really seen that many stories that are set in northern Nigeria. And I like the fact that they did that here. It was a new, different flavor to it. I really enjoyed it. The Hausa vibe of it. I don't really see many. We need more of that, Teach me more about Hausa culture. Bring it back. Just give me some of that. I like that. It was really interesting to see. Overall, pretty steady cinematography. I also really like the scores. Scores really followed this story really well. They made you feel the intensity when you were supposed to feel it. So overall, pretty good cinematography.
I guarantee you that this is only the beginning. Just wait until you see everything that I have planned for this evening.
Can we start by you two getting out of my house? Neither of us is going anywhere until you tell us what's going on.
Gabriel Afolayo is one of my favorite Nollywood actors. I've got to say, I love it when an actor is known for his acting. Sometimes we have actors and it's either their typecast or their physique make them, pretty well known for a certain type of cast. But Gabriel Afolayo is an actor in every sense of the word. He just, he shows up, he acts, performs the role beautifully. And what he does here is really entertaining. I love the fact that he acted, he really brought the manly emotion to the situation, because we've got a very tense situation. There are a lot of ladies there. We get a lot of feminine energy, feminine emotion. He portrayed that masculine energy in that situation, that crisis situation, I should say, really well. And I enjoyed that. I've got to say, Sophie Alakija is one of my favorite Nollywood actors as well, but for different reasons. I mean, she's a great actor, but whenever I see her on screen, every once in a while, God just dips his hand into his bag of estrogen and he just creates. And this woman is eye-catching. You put her on screen, you stop, you pause, you leave everything you're doing, you just pay attention. She's not even the main character in this, but I cannot just help but keep my eyes on her. Look, I am a fanboy. She's awesome. And on that note, one of my favorite scenes in this movie, of course, it features Sophie Alakija. Why not? The scene where she shows the phone to her best friend, showing her that her husband was cheating. I love that scene because of the emotions that transpired there. Really, really, really engaging. What you see there is immediately you see the shock, you see the despair, and then you see the denial. You can see her deny it. She's looking for every excuse in the box. She's trying to create an excuse for why she's seeing a picture of her own husband with another lady. And that really tells you about the depth. Just following the storyline, it tells you the depth to which she'd fallen in love with this man, to the point where hard, concrete evidence was presented to her showing that her husband was guilty of infidelity, and on the spot she's coming up with ridiculous things to come up with an excuse for it. It really tallied with the story, and they performed that really well. It was awesome to see.
What do I do now?
For now, you know exactly what to do.
Not alive.
I think top on my list of pros has got to be the fact that this was a northern set story. It was set in northern Nigeria. You could feel it in the conversation, in the dialogue. You could really feel that northern Hausa vibe, and it's really interesting. I liked it a lot. I feel like we need more of it. I think like in the industry, Nollywood as a whole, there's a bit of a disconnect. We have a lot of movies that are set in Yoruba land and portray Yoruba culture and even some of the Eastern cultures as well. We don't get that much for the Hausa. Please do more. I enjoyed this, you know. We need more of that. So great acting as well. Stellar acting performances, really great acting. And just a simple story, not the type of story we see often. Very simple story, well done. Some of the cons for me, I think a major con for me was the scene where the kidnapping happened. I don't think the gatesman's reaction, the security guard's reaction to that was realistic. I mean, he witnessed the kidnapping. He witnessed these guys come in. He's completely motionless. If you watch the movie, it's almost like he's working with the kidnappers. He doesn't do anything. They come in. He doesn't try to warn anybody. He doesn't scream for help. Doesn't make any phone calls. They come in. They hit the madam. I've got a problem with that too, because she was hit in the stomach and she was knocked out unconscious. It's the very simple things for me. That's a very little detail. It's like, okay, director, just inform them to hit her in the head. That way it makes a lot more sense that she's knocked out. Now you've put us in this situation where it's like, is it natural for someone to just pass out after being hit in the stomach? That's one thing. But really heavy on the reaction of the gate man here, because even after that, the lady is knocked out, she's passed out on the floor. The gate man doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything, doesn't bring any water, doesn't call any maid, doesn't ask for any assistance from anybody whatsoever. She actually recovers by herself on the floor. She gets up and she looks for the gate man herself. Completely unrealistic. I saw that and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this guy has got to be part of this ploy. He's got to be in on it somehow. And I was left disappointed when he actually wasn't. He played no part in it. So it's a complete waste of what we saw from him in the beginning. So that was really disappointing and unrealistic for me.
I guarantee you that this is only the beginning. Just wait until you see everything that I have planned for this evening.
Can we start by you two getting out of my house? Neither of us is going anywhere until you tell us what's going on.
I think this movie occupies that spot where it's not exactly a must-watch, but then again, it's not something that you should avoid. I really enjoyed this. It was a very, very simple movie. It was told really well. The acting performances, you've got to give super credit to the actors here. Gabriel Afolayan, of course, Sophie. Really, really great acting overall. The only little thing that I have with it, which I've got to be honest, is a big thing. I can't call it little. That thing with the security guard, off the charts unrealistic. I don't know how that passed, honestly. I have no idea from the moment when it was shot to post-production to no one called that out. That is surprising to me. But overall, I think you should see it. Yeah, it's a good movie. You should see it.
This morning, some people with big guns, they kidnap Alhaji.
Didn't I say no lies? I warned you.
No, hello. The last time I checked, the only person with questionable character is you. Okay,